Edward Mordake, originally spelled Mordake, was a man who allegedly lived in the 1800s. While described as a well-to-do fellow, he also had the misfortune of possessing a most disturbing physical abnormality, a second face fused to the back of his head. Now the subjects of internet memes, social media discussions, and even pop culture influences, Mordake's story is a fascinating blend of urban legend, 19th century newspaper reporting, and medical research. Mordake, a man of the aristocracy, was described as handsome, quite learned, and a musician. But what do we know about his strange deformity, the devil twin, as he called it? Anomalies and Curiosities of Medicine describes Mordake's rear-mounted mug as occupying only a small portion of the posterior part of the skull, yet exhibiting every sign of intelligence, of a malignant sort. The 1896 medical compendium also depicts the devil twin as having female facial characteristics, and possessing a sinister beauty, though most modern visual representations do not reflect this sentiment, opting for a miniature male counterpart. It supposedly had two developed eyes, which would ominously follow passers, and also a drooling mouth able to wear emotions, facial expressions that reportedly showed contempt when Mordake was happy and smirked when he was upset. If that were not perturbing enough, Mordake claimed that the demon face was always awake and that it would gibber without ceasing, whispering to him at night of things one would only speak about in hell. Unable to live with the inescapable horrors affixed to his skull, or convince medical professionals to attempt separating them, Mordake secluded himself and eventually committed suicide at the age of 23, but his fears transcended death. Per his request, he was buried in a landfill, without marker or tombstone. Largely regarded as an urban legend by modern fact-checkers and folklore enthusiasts, the earliest known incarnation of Edward Mordake comes from the 8th of December, 1895 edition of the Boston Post. Although mentioned, he was actually not the central focus of the piece, and just one of many physically disfigured individuals showcased by writer Charles Lawton Hildreth, or Lot, which he unaffectionately denoted as human freaks. Hildreth cited official reports from the Royal Scientific Society as the basis for his claims of Mordake's existence, along with the other featured human hybrids. However, neither the article or the referenced reports can be verified as factual, with the latter's very existence remaining unknown. While this is the first recognized piece on Mordake, who would eventually be popularized as Mordrake, it is certainly not the most descriptive, as the aforementioned medical encyclopedia provides a more in-depth analysis. Anomalies and Curiosities of Medicine makes a few distinctions, offering some personal insight into Mordake and his second head, but falls short of giving a specific medical condition. The only explanations provided within are Mordake having a possible birth defect or carrying a parasitic twin. It should also be noted that the sole reference cited is the 1895 Boston Post article, whose authenticity remains unproven. Regardless of his existence, images of Mordake continue to haunt the internet, causing curious browsers to seek out the source of this mysterious deformed man. Was he inspired by nobleman Edward Mordake, cursed to act as vessel for a hellish passenger, or merely the product of writers trying to sell more newspapers? Despite the truth or intent, Mordake's tragic tale lives on,